greatest voice of all times. Period. That's it.
Show your love for Belinda Davis.
For me, Whitney is everything. Yeah. Great artist. Legendary.
That was the moment we've been waiting for. Welcome to the Late Night Show. Hope everything is okay. Hope everything is all right. I'm your host, Andrew Dick. Okie dokie, kids, what's happening on the lovely Isle of St. Martin? We begin with a little bit of different news. Soul Beach is just around the corner, May. And of course, Minister Heiliger is on a press tour, or I should say a radio tour, because you know she ain't coming late night. So she's on a radio tour, promoting Soul Beach and also justifying paying $700,000 to the organizers of Soul Beach. Now, of course, it's estimated to be a big win for St. Martin's economy for the May month, which is good because it carries over after Carnival. So it's like having a whole week of rich and successful people that come to enjoy St. Martin's vacation time. Anyway, Krisha Heiliger Martin this morning with the organizer of Soul Beach, speaking to Lady Grace.
I strongly believe that this, despite the fact it being the 30th anniversary, will be the best Soul Beach that you've ever seen. No, for real. I put it out in the universe because I feel it, and as much as the criticism that Grisha has been getting from the inception of it, we complain about everything. But in the end, we go like, yeah, it was great. It was great. It was great.
Well, I the courage, I commend her on the courage that it took to do this and to make it happen, because I know anytime you make a big move like that, it's always going to be, and the ideal of, being able to pull it together in the time frame, she had faith in us.
Yeah.
Right from the beginning. And she said, to me, the first thing she said is, I know how important this is. And that, I was sold on that, because that's what you're looking for. It's like, okay, where do you understand and where can we impact, and where can we make a difference?
You were on top of everything that was going on behind the scenes with her, though.
I know.
Yeah.
And it's it's one of those things like we talked about when I first came to Aruba. We went back and forth. The opposing government kind of really fought us, and then we stayed, and then they signed, and then the new government. So we went through 4 governors to a place where no one opposed us anymore because everybody had signed off. At some point, we went through 4 ministers of tourism, 5 different governors, and I think it eventually became, second to Carnival, the longest running event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But looking at the time, I mean. You signed a contract for, was it a 5-year, 10-year contract, or every year you said the different governments?
The first couple of years was a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
And then we did 3-year contracts. And in fact, right before COVID, we did a 4-year contract. That's why we were, kind of surprised when things changed. But we came back gangbusters.
The year of COVID, you guys didn't do.
We didn't do 20 and 2021.
Okay.
So we took off 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
But 2022 was one of our biggest, attendance. So
Right.
people,
Missed it.
it's like Lady Grace said about this year. I think when people go through things, they really come out to be together. And I think that's what this would be.
Right.
People kind of
Yeah.
venting.
Yeah, yeah.
We
Because, right.
we all, everybody also was freezing. This is one of the coldest winters
Oh,
that they've had back east. So I'm already getting calls like, I'm coming. I made I
Right.
got my flight already. Where should I stay?
Talk to people because the job site is investing about
Yeah.
700,000.
Yeah.
We have already made a deposit.
Yes.
What does it mean for the country? What has the economy? How does
Yeah,
it
what's
sit
the
in the
economic
economy?
impact it will have
Okay,
here for
so
St.
that was-
Martin?
Yeah.
go
That's
ahead.
very important.
So, one of the reasons we stayed is because there was an economic impact that was done by a third party. Not us, not Aruba Tourism. They used Central Florida as a resource, and they came out and they did surveys on what is the impact, and there was first the trend was that it was the highest per average spending, even over their attendance at high season. So as opposed to $250 per person, our people were spending $476 per person per day. Per day. This is not including your hotel. This is I'm going out to get jewelry. We had lines around the Gucci store. I mean, the Gucci called and said, "What's going on, Mark? I mean, are you doing a promotion?" I said, "No, I didn't even. I can't take credit there." But the taxi drivers would come to us and say, I made what I needed to make for all of June.
Wow.
He said so that because it's spread out, what they saw is the impact reached across the island. It's not just people sitting in hotels and drinking by the pools, although the hotels did well too.
Correct.
But it's not them only. It was the stakeholders. It's the dining locations. So that was the number one that we dropped 30 million in 1 week in 5 days. So it was a biggest grossing event for years. Then on top of it, when we started, it was only a 4-day stay. They saw it go to 5 days, 6 days, and now it's an average 7-day stay. And already people, from our people, they already say it's an average 7-day stays is what they're saying. So you got the 7, and then you're going to have the 10-day stayers. So now you have an average length of stay, on top of it. So you couple that with spending per day, and again, the results are you see it right back. Your investment comes back that weekend. But then it's the compression that really made the hotels, participate because we asked for a certain amount of comp rooms.
Correct.
And so how do you make the numbers work? But what they saw is like, for instance, DV is already selling as close to sold out. What they saw is the compression from that week from our people buying so early now made anybody that wanted to come Memorial Day weekend have to come the week before or the week after.
Okay.
And on average, Grace, and
Go ahead.
at the hotels, because I spoke to all of them, the major ones, they're usually 60% capacity, sometimes 50, sometimes 1 or 2 will do 70.
This is in May?
This is in May,
May,
but
right.
no, I'm gonna take my time this year. As soon as this event is over, I'm gonna ask them again, what was your capacity? Did it increase by 80, 90, 100?
You put those numbers
That's
out
what-
there.
Yeah, put those numbers out
Right,
there.
right.
So that's mainly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at the numbers clear. I already have them on standby. I want a full report, and I'm gonna do an assessment. And once that is clear, that
Great
everyone
shot, boy.
is increased.
That's great, Chef.
Organized, we'll be seeing a lot of each other.
Definitely.
So justification, we're at $700,000, not yet. Oh, we should match the same $700,000 that we given to the foreign festivals, and maybe decide to give the $700,000 to, I don't know, maybe, is there any big cultural festival that was messed up by former President Arthur Lawrence, but even way, I think Carnival, yes, Carnival. Carnival would be perfect. Let me give Carnival $700,000. Maybe we could make more than $20 million or $40 million. Or maybe $100 million. I don't know. We just make up these numbers like we make up the politicians. Welcome to the Late Night Show. Let's begin. What is it? Guess what? I got an idea. It's amazing. You see how we have the link sharing all everywhere?
QR link,
the
yeah.
QR link.
Yeah.
Raw Caribbean Channel app. Yeah. You're welcome. Put it in the back.
But it's not an app though. It's not an app. App you have to like download something to get it on your phone, take up space. It's not an app.
It's like an app. Therefore, it can be an app. So, it's an app. Raw Caribbean TV app. Say it with me, Al. Come on.
It's not an app though. All you gotta do with that, it's a link. You take the link, you hit the bookmark, you say add to home screen, and so it shows up like an app icon, but it's not an app though.
Are you a real person? It is an app because you get to watch all the programs from Raw Caribbean at one place. It is an app.
I don't know how to explain this to you, but factually and technically, it's not an app. Kind of like we do the news, facts,
Yeah.
and you do that thing you do.
Whoa.
Point being, you just go to the QR, you hit bookmarks, and you hit add to home screen, and then you can have the link to, let's give it another name.
The app.
You want to call it the app?
Raw Caribbean TV app.
Jess.
Yes.
Jess, please, give some sense, Jess. Jess.
It's kind of like an app.
That's why she gets the big bucks.
It's not an app, though. It's not a app. What the It's not a app.
You kiss your mother with her mouth? My God. Watch Raw Caribbean TV app.
Watch Raw Caribbean TV app.
Yes.
It's not an app, though.
All right, welcome back. Now, Carnival Today is a program that we love to bring to you during the Carnival season, of course, Great Bay Media. And, you know, me and Jess, we do the tasting. We go around tasting. Oh, that sounds horrible. Anyway, let me just switch that to something else. But Carnival Today is a good program that is going to be airing this week on Raw Social. So make sure you stick to the socials and see the updates. And very important, we have a sneak peek. Yeah. So the president of the SCDF was a special guest on the first program that's going to be airing this week. Take a look.
Yes, yes. Welcome to Carnival Today. Your inside track to everything Carnival. Carnival season is about to start on the north side of the island, but that doesn't mean we can't talk about the south side Carnival. I have with me the latest president of the St. Martin Carnival Development Foundation, Mr. Eduardo Rejuki. President, what are you doing?
How you doing?
How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty ready.
Yeah.
Carnival is in the air, as we can see. We're starting it already from the French side. And
Right.
I would like to pick up the French side for their
They're about to start.
They're about to start, and everything is looking very, very positive. I did have a talk with the president, and how she put it, everything is in place so far. And you know, I'm very glad that things have gone through for them.
Right.
Well, you know, in the beginning they had a little ups and downs,
Yeah.
but I thank the collectivity came forward and assist them in the best they can.
Yeah.
And so far now, they are ready to go. And good luck to the French side with their Carnival 2020.
Definitely, because it kicks off Carnival for the whole island for the next couple of months.
Yes. And like we just say, you know, we got two Carnival on one island.
Yeah, we got something special going on in the village. We're actually getting the village. How is the construction of the village, the reconstruction of the village? How is that going?
Well, the reconstruction is going pretty well. As when I had a meeting with the Prime Minister and SOK, it went pretty well. The contractors, them is on point. They have done a marvelous job with the new construction of the boots.
Okay,
in them.
okay.
I can even tell you that the boots in them have been tiled as well.
Oh, that's
They're putting
nice.
tiles in the boots as well. And
that's all the boots?
All the boots in them. So, all the boots in them will be ready by Carnival 2025.
A full 79.
Full 79.
Wow.
And I'm very, very, very happy that that the Prime Minister had stepped up with his commitment to make sure that the village is ready for Carnival 2020.
What else is, how the rest of preparations and getting ready is going? I know registration.
Yes, preparation has been going pretty well. The registration them has already open and closed. We had the registration for the Queens and them that has closed off. I mean, we have five seniors and 3 juniors, but we never know what could happen. But that's the plan so far.
And for the season pass, I remember we weren't having a season pass, and then it was announced a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, I was getting to that. With the season pass, then we got the okay, and so far the season pass have come back on board, which we are already open registration. So we're asking everyone, please go and register. You can start even to pay, but you can start register.
Okay.
So that it's $190. And those we did make a commitment to some
from last year.
From last year, where we will deduct something for those that had took part to Carnival next year with the season pass.
Right.
So those will get their reduction to $175 for their season passes. And it's not the season pass is excluded. Bacchanal Sunday and Flag Fest. So people gotta understand that those 2 shows is not in the season pass.
Okay.
Everything else is in the season pass, but those 2 shows is not into the season pass.
Okay, how the boot holders doing?
The boot holders and them, we already had one. We have 2 meetings already with the boot holders. Them, we have some new boot holders them also on board, and plus we got to extend those other boots in them. So we had to bring in some extra boot holders, and which almost everybody has already done committed that they are coming through. We have spoke to some new ones in them that they are coming, and hey, it look marvelous. Carnival 25 it's going to be very, very, very exciting this year.
So that's my next question. I mean, what are you looking forward to?
I'm looking for an excited Carnival, like I told y'all last year.
Yeah.
They have come and experience life, and like I said, and I said before, Carnival is we thing. Carnival belongs to the people, and the people of St. Martin got to enjoy a good Carnival. Plus our visitors, we want them to come here and enjoy something that, the experience within Carnival is different to the other country. We are 10 days, 11 days, other countries it's 3-4 days.
Yep.
We have a long festival with different variety of foods, different variety of music, so you can come and enjoy that whole ambience from the 21st of April to the 5th of May.
One other thing I want to ask you about as well, we're looking forward to. I know it's now the 3rd or the 4th year since the SCDF, where I was a part of as well. We put forward this traditional, we wanted to change the traditional look of the parade.
Yes.
This was something that came in when you were the new president.
Yes.
We were talking about it for years. Last year was beautiful. What do you expect this year?
The cultural aspect of Carnival was always a part of me because I played Carnival for almost 12, 13 years. And I played costumes and I played different aspects. And I travel a lot and see the different countries where their culture stands out more than anything else.
Yeah.
And I always said to myself that the day I get the opportunity to bring that forward, I will. And that's what I did when I get my first term here, to mandate that as one of the cultural aspect and heritage of the island. So when the tourists and the visitors come to the island, they can see a difference. They can see a warmness of culture that we St. Martin people has here on St. Martin.
Not what they would see in Trinidad and Jamaica and Miami.
I know, but we know that things are changing. The ambience of the revelers in them are different comparing to the past. But we still need to stick within our culture, and that's what I betray as much as possible within the troops in them. And it's mandate again this year. And so far with the troops in them, the meeting we had, it looks like they are more cooperative with it, and they have it now down packed. They're like hearing some of them said they're even looking at how they have the cultural parade. They're looking at in that same, so we might even look at in that case.
Oh, that looks great. That looks great.
And you see, I was a part of the cultural parade as well. So,
of course.
I make sure that stands out. Because the people of St. Martin gotta understand that St. Martin, let's give people our taste of local, our taste of heritage within St. Martin.
Love that. This is Carnival today. We're gonna have an episode every week moving forward till the end of May, basically. So I know I'm gonna see you again.
Yes.
I have some other hosts that are gonna come and ask you questions. Maybe we get some other board members in here. We're gonna definitely have Friendside over here soon as well. So I want you to give people, because Friendside is about to start. you give them your own personal wish for their season, and by the time you're back, I'll get yours for you.
Well, people of St. Martin, all I can say, St. Martin, St. Martin, we ain't got no St. Martin, St. Martin. The people of St. Martin, go and enjoy yourself to the carnival on the French side. They're having a marvelous program they have put together for you, the people of St. Martin, for us to have a great time for Carnival 2025. And then we come over to the Dutch side on the 21st of April, down to the 5th of May, for the Carnival Common Experience Live. And I hope to see you there.
Mr. President, thank you so much for having us. I want you to let everybody know you're watching Carnival Today.
Interesting, right? I know. Let's take a look what's happening around in the Caribbean, because we're supposed to be a real place, so I think other places do it.
That Donald Trump will become the 47th President of the United States.
Donald Trump is back in the White House, and his America First agenda has sparked intense reactions and raised many questions within the Caribbean community in the United States and across the diaspora. Caribbean Americans, many of whom have roots in nations that rely on U.S. foreign policies for economic and social stability, are in for some sweeping changes that could have far-reaching implications you need to know about. With control over both chambers of Congress, the Trump administration is ready to reshape U.S. Caribbean policies, from economic disruptions to environmental challenges, trade wars, immigration, foreign aid, and climate policy. Welcome to Caribbean Focus. In this video, we're taking a close look at one of the most important questions facing the Caribbean today. What does a new Trump presidency mean for Caribbean-U.S. relations? That is the question we're going to tackle today. On Tuesday, November 5th, the United States had what many consider the most consequential election in its nearly 250-year history. Former President Donald Trump defeated Vice President Kamala Harris to become the second person in U.S. history to be elected to non-consecutive presidential terms in the White House, and the 47th President of the United States in a resounding win.
Well, I want to thank you all very much. This is great. These are our friends. We have thousands of friends on this incredible movement. This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before. Frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country, and maybe beyond.
Trump and his supporters believe this victory represents a clear mandate from the American people, emboldening him to make bold, sweeping changes to the country's direction. With his decisive win, Trump has stated that this mandate justifies his vision to implement major policy shifts and reaffirm his America First approach, setting the stage for a new chapter in U.S. governance. Donald Trump and the Republican Party scored a decisive victory in a deeply divided nation, rebutting many naysayers and the Democratic Party. Trump not only won the Electoral College with a commanding 312 electoral victory over Vice Presidential Harris's 226 Electoral College votes, he also became the first Republican candidate to win the popular vote since President George H.W. Bush won in 1988. Securing almost 75 million votes, Trump led the Republican Party to flip the U.S. Senate and is expected to maintain control of the House of Representatives. With such a decisive victory over the executive and legislative branches of the U.S. government, it is expected that a Donald Trump presidency will only be even more emboldened than his previous term. During his first term, Trump's policy initiatives were often tempered by congressional opposition and at times by a lack of popular support. However, with little congressional pushback expected under a Republican-controlled legislature, and a Supreme Court which has upheld many of his positions, there will likely be little resistance as Trump assumes the office of president in 2025. Control of both chambers of Congress would allow Trump to advance his most ambitious legislative priorities with fewer obstacles. Key conservative initiatives like immigration reform, tax cuts, healthcare changes, and the rollback of regulatory policies have already been discussed by the president-elect, and this alignment would likely enable a faster and more sweeping implementation of his policies. So how will an emboldened and unrestrained Donald Trump affect the Caribbean? Well, we at Caribbean Focus see 4 main ways Trump's America First approach will impact the region and the world at large. 1. Immigration. 2. Foreign aid. 3. Trades. And 4. Climate change. The first big impact on the region is expected to come from reduced foreign aid and policy engagement.
The United States is the world's largest giver in the world by far of foreign aid, but few give anything to us. That is why we are taking a hard look at U.S. foreign assistance. We will examine what is working, what is not working, and whether the countries who receive our dollars and our protection also have our interests at heart.
President Trump has been a long-time critic of foreign aid, and his America First policy will most likely see the biggest reduction in U.S. foreign aid since his original presidency. U.S. total global aid in 2023 was $61 billion, half of which went to 10 countries, principally Ukraine at $16.4 billion and Israel at $3.3 billion. The Biden administration provided nearly $2.5 billion in foreign assistance to Latin America and the Caribbean in 2024, $427.3 million more than in 2023. All 14 independent CARICOM countries received approximately $456.2 million in aid from the superpower, of which $393.8 million went exclusively to Haiti, leaving $62.4 million for the remaining 13 countries. Under a Trump presidency, the region can expect this number to drop to nearly zero, similar to what happened back in 2016. This reduction in foreign aid is also expected to impact regional institutions such as the Inter-American Development Bank, which funds several regional projects throughout the Caribbean in the areas of disaster preparedness, healthcare, and infrastructure, particularly the most vulnerable countries like Haiti. Not to mention the expected support the region might receive after a natural disaster in terms of logistical support and other soft services. Secondly, the Caribbean can expect to see price and trade shocks as President Trump's administration pursues its new trade policy.
Now the Washington Post is saying that you're talking about 60% tariffs on Chinese goods. Is that in the cards?
No, I would say maybe it's going to be more than that.
Mr. Trump has constantly iterated his dissatisfaction with the U.S. balance of trade surplus with several countries, particularly China. During this election, he advocated for a universal minimum tariff of 10% on all imports, with higher rates on specific sectors or from certain countries. When it comes to trade, the CARICOM region and CARICOM countries are in a relatively good place. The U.S. has enjoyed a persistent balance of trade surplus with CARICOM countries collectively. This means that the Caribbean imports more from the United States than the United States imports from the Caribbean. For example, in 2023, the Caribbean imported $7.4 billion more in products that were exported, meaning that a tariff on Caribbean exports may not be as damaging as for other countries. However, with such a sweeping policy of blanket tariffs, the impact on U.S. product prices, which the region extensively relies on, may be unpredictable and would most likely lead to at least some negative impact on the products we import. On the bright side, this increase in tariffs on imports the U.S. is looking to impose to shore up local manufacturing is leading other countries, particularly China, to hedge their economies for an upcoming change in the world economic order. As countries like China and the EU are expected to see reduced exports to the U.S., the opportunity arises for the Caribbean to seize possible exports from these countries, particularly on products such as electric cars, solar panels, and battery technology. And possibly the most impactful change to the region will come in the administration's new approach to climate change. President Donald Trump has long downplayed the reality of climate change and during his first presidency notably withdrew the U.S. from the Paris Climate Agreement. He further expanded U.S. oil and gas production, removing regulations that impede fossil fuel extraction through fracking. It can be expected that as a skeptic, President Donald Trump would likely roll back many of the United States' climate initiatives, with a return to policies favoring fossil fuel industries over renewable energy.
President-elect Donald Trump has promised to undo several of his predecessors' climate policies aimed at carbon emissions once he takes office in January. While he was on the campaign trail, he called global warming a scam and also said he would eliminate the Inflation Reduction Act, which is President Biden's signature climate initiative, and instead focus on oil and gas production.
I will approve new drilling, new pipelines, new refineries, new power plants, new reactors, and we will slash the red tape. It used to be global warming, and that wasn't working because we're actually cooling. So they talk all the time about the ocean will rise in 500 years, 1/8 of an inch. Who the hell cares, okay?
New Trump policies will pose difficulties for Caribbean countries which are among the worst affected by extreme weather conditions, including global warming and sea level rise. Specifically, Trump's stance could lead to the scaling back of emissions targets, fewer incentives for green technology, and even the repeal of the Green New Deal and sections of the Inflation Reduction Act, which had set aside massive federal investment in climate resilience projects. On the world stage, the US would likely play a diminished role in climate leadership, which could weaken global efforts to combat climate change, putting additional pressure on vulnerable regions and contributing to the acceleration of environmental impacts worldwide. While these are the main areas of concern expected under a new Trump administration, there are still many other actions we can expect a new President Trump to do which will have deep effects on the Caribbean. One of the Trump administration's most impactful areas of policy for the Caribbean will likely be immigration.
This morning, President-elect Trump signaling a major move on immigration, responding true to a post on his social media platform, saying he will declare a national emergency and use military assets for a mass deportation program.
The Republican platform promises to launch the largest deportation operation in the history of our country. We must use any and all resources needed to stop the invasion, including moving thousands of troops currently stationed overseas.
Trump has vowed to carry out the largest deportation in American history when he takes office, with estimates stating that upwards of 1 million migrants are to be deported. Tighter immigration laws and increased deportations of Caribbean nationals are likely to have economic and social effects on the region, as many Caribbean families rely on remittances sent from relatives living and working in the United States. Furthermore, immigration pathways for skilled and unskilled Caribbean workers are expected to decrease as President Trump pursues his closed border approach to immigration, particularly for Haitian migrants who received protections under the Biden administration. Additionally, the Trump administration took a hardline stance on Venezuela back during his presidency, seeking to isolate its government. This approach had implications for nearby Caribbean nations that have historical, cultural, and economic ties with Venezuela. The policy often placed Caribbean nations in a difficult diplomatic position, balancing between US expectations and their own interests in the region. This approach is expected to continue when he returns. However, it can be said that Caribbean-Venezuela relations have deteriorated over the last 4 years due to the territorial dispute between Venezuela and its Caribbean neighbor, Guyana. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Your likes help the YouTube algorithm promote our videos, allowing others to enjoy this content too. Thanks for your continued support. Finally, general collaboration between the Caribbean and the US is most likely going to decrease under a new Trump presidency. Under the Biden administration, Caribbean collaboration had been strong, and it was hoped that the first black and female president of Jamaican descent would continue this trajectory. However, as President Trump assumes office, policy collaboration between the US and the Caribbean is expected to decline, as an America First approach would likely prioritize US domestic and economic interests over regional partnerships. In areas such as climate change, disaster preparedness, trade, and immigration, Trump's administration is likely to focus less on multilateral agreements and more on policies that protect US industries and interests. So as much of the world prepares for a return to the old, a new Trump presidency would present complex challenges for the Caribbean, impacting the region across economic, environmental, and social dimensions. Reduced foreign aid, a pending trade war, and a potential rollback in US climate commitments could strain Caribbean economies and hinder efforts to address critical issues like disaster resilience, economic sustainability, and infrastructure development. as the U.S. adopts a more insular America First approach, Caribbean nations may find themselves needing to seek alternative partnerships, potentially altering the region's geopolitical landscape. Over the years, as the region has embraced new geopolitical partnerships with China, Europe, and Africa, we should expect to see a further pivot away from the US and a return to what many are considering the status quo of American insularism. Overall, a second Trump term could amplify the Caribbean's vulnerability to external shocks while reducing the stability and support it has historically received from the US, creating a more uncertain future for the region, at least in the near term. Check out this video on why Kamala Harris lost the US presidential election. We'd love to hear from you. How do you think Trump's America First policies will impact the Caribbean the most through immigration, trade, or climate change? And what changes do you think Caribbean nations should prioritize in response? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you received value from this video, please share, like, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update. This is Caribbean Focus. See you in the next video.
Time for another commercial break. When we come back, more late night. Stay with us.
And I fall on my knee. Tell me how's the way to be. Tell me how's the way to go. Tell me all that I should know. And I fall on my knee. Tell me how's the way to go. Tell me how's the way to be. To evoke some empathy. And I fall on my knee. Tell me how's the way to go. Tell me how's the way to see. Show me all that I could be.
Hello, my people. Make sure you tune in to Sit, Sip, and Chat every Monday at 5 p.m. on TV 15 and every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m.
And make sure tune in to the late night show with Henry Dick from Monday to Friday at 10 p.m. with a repeat in the afternoon for no reason. In the afternoon, the late night show at 3 p.m. Thank you, TV 15.
Thank you, TV 15. Make sure to tune in
Make sure to tune in to the late night.
and Sit, Sip, and Chat.
Late night.
For over 50 years, we've understood the power of connection. Back when connecting St. Martin to the world seemed impossible, we made it possible. From pioneering international calling to introducing digital mobile services and laying the foundations for fiber optic technology, we've kept you connected wherever life or business takes you. And through it all, we've proudly supported the vibrant culture, traditions, and people that make St. Martin unique. But that's not where our journey ends. It's where it starts again. With a brand new commitment to connecting you, we've been working tirelessly behind the scenes to improve our services and bring you a better, more reliable network. We've restored the SMPR1 fiber cable that connects St. Martin to the world, ensuring faster speeds and greater stability. Our mobile platforms are being upgraded, and we've expanded our mobile coverage so you can stay connected wherever you go. Our new customer service system is easier to use and more efficient than ever. Plus, we're continuing to expand our fiber network, bringing you the most advanced internet available. But beyond pioneering technology, we're committed to uplifting our community. Because this is our home too. That's why we provide free connectivity to many schools across St. Martin, equipping the next generation with the tools to connect, learn, and grow. At Telem, proudly local, we're here for today, tomorrow, and every milestone ahead.
Flashback! Yeah, it means we're going back to the past and we're going to look at the mistakes that we continue to make. Welcome to St. Martin. Do come and visit.
Flashback.
Welcome to the Late Night Show. Hope everything is okay. Hope everything is all right. I'm your host, Andrew Dick. Okay, what's happening on the lovely island of St. Martin, kids? We bring you the highlights of the St. Martin Carnival Development Foundation in Parliament. The Central Committee meeting met on Wednesday. And, of course, the board of the SCDF was present, some of the board of the SCDF, and also the members of Parliament, well, some of the members of Parliament, because most of them are off island. And it was very interesting, I must say. The reason why is because it just reinforces that the St. Martin Carnival Development Foundation is the worst foundation in St. Martin history. They went to Parliament to discuss urgent issues. So everybody was waiting to see what is the urgent issues. And according to SCDF, they basically was a big crybaby in Parliament, and they just were there, to complain about the heavy challenges that this voluntary foundation has, and how does the government just wants to put it on bid. I guess it has nothing to do with the fact that they are kind of messing up the biggest festival that St. Martin has. How dare the government step in and do something about it? What makes it even more interesting is that the foundation continues to blame everybody but themselves when it comes to the organizing of our biggest festival here on St. Martin. Don't take my word for it. Let's go into the highlights. Okay, so that was part of the presentation. Now let's go into the reactions from the members of Parliament. Of course, the opposition was in full force, including Member of Parliament Ludmila de Weaver. I think she forgets that she supports this particular government. I just don't understand. But it was very interesting, the response from the opposition in Parliament.
Another one, and we're not arguing about the decision, but just about how it was done again. Government's cancellation of Carnival 2021. 10 days after giving the green light. Now I think that part of the news, the cancellation news, went further than we're having Carnival. And this went all across the Caribbean because consequences of this was 10 days before that, we put out our health and safety regulations and guidelines that was adopted all around the Caribbean. Everybody took it and like, wow, we need to see that. The government green lighted it. It looked great for us here in St. Martin. And then 10 days, while we were actually in meetings with stakeholders up until 10:30 that night, I don't live far from the office. By the time I got home, there was on SMN News that government had canceled Carnival. I can never express what that feeling is in regular words, but basically, again, another situation where we could have been consulted. As a matter of fact, that day we were in consultation with members of the Council of Ministers. They could have, WhatsApp was, something could have said, oh, I think we need to go this way. Lastly, the most dangerous external decision to date, Parliament quietly passing a budget amendment law in 2021, putting Carnival on bid for 2023 and the consequences thereof. These consequences are what we are dealing with right now. The same way how the 50 pass giveaway stopped everyone from registering, this decision and the times that it has been mentioned by the council in public, this word bid, Carnival was going to be on bid, I don't think the council knows what that has done to us and our operations. We have sponsors that have money to contribute to Carnival for Carnival 2022, heard that word bid and said, no, I don't know where it's going. And we have been, all of us here and other board members, we have a total of 9 board members, we have been dealing directly with the consequences of that, which includes not only people showing up to our houses, not only people demanding their money, not only people threatening to go the legal route, but we have not been consulted on this at all. And yeah, I'm gonna pass, Madam Chair Lady, I will pass the mic over to my colleague, who will go into the next slide.
That we are here to discuss Carnival going on bid, and my colleague made mention a while ago, a couple of months before the Carnival, oh, it must go on bid. It must go on bid. And then I heard members of the Carnival Committee said they had a discussion with one member of parliament. You had a discussion with one member of parliament, one. When you had a majority in parliament, what pass it? You had a majority in parliament, what pass it? And none of them ain't here today. They're here. And then when the meeting went in closed door because they want to hear from stakeholders, where are they? Have you heard from them? The meeting is open today. But you had a discussion with one member of parliament, with the government. Where's the government? Madam Chair Lady. But we are here discussing putting Carnival on bid. Madam Chair, so this year Carnival wasn't a successful Carnival? And besides the 2 years that we was absent, the one before that wasn't a successful Carnival, and the one before that wasn't a successful Carnival, and the one before that wasn't a successful Carnival. But then let me ask this question, Madam Chair Lady. That one member of parliament, I would like to ask this to the members of the Carnival Committee. Wasn't that the one member of Carnival, or one member of parliament that they said they had a discussion with at some point in time involved in marketing Carnival? Was it going on bid then? Madam Chair, I refuse to entertain nonsense. And that's what this is. And I'm sorry that I have to call a meeting in Parliament in such a name, in such a manner. MP Westcott Williams said, but when you ask questions, they are miffed. But it's true. It is true. Carnival? Carnival? We are discussing Carnival.
And I won't lie, I have had some issues with aspects, certain decisions made by SCDF, and I've told them that directly. I passionately disagree, for example, with restaurants being given booths in the village. They have brick and mortar establishments, and what I was explained about the spirit of being a booth holder is that you give persons in the community who maybe have a little business a chance to generate some income and showcase their talents, specifically because they don't have an actual restaurant. But I've communicated this, of course, to Mr. Granger and Mr. Lawrence, because if I have issues with the way things are done, I prefer to communicate directly with the horse's mouths in question. So if a restructuring of SCDF or the way Carnival is done in St. Martin is a conversation that needs to happen, then that needs to happen with all stakeholders involved. And if government is adamant about it being put up for bid, there are ways to protect against Carnival being hijacked by non-local actors then. You restrict it to foundations that have cultural relevance, a cultural goal, so to speak, in the community, of which SCDF is one already. And that is something similar to my experience with planning festivals in the Netherlands. Amsterdam Pride is something that is put up for bid every 10 years, five years now. But there are strict policies and strict criterion that you have to meet. You can't be, anybody to come and bid to put on that festival. And that's not even a cultural festival. So again, as we are seeking to protect our heritage and our culture, I think that this is something the government needs to look at. And it's ironic that this amendment passes in a budget meeting where MP Duncan's motion also passes about establishing a cultural and heritage week with the Minister of ECYS sitting right in front of us. But anyway, Madam Chair, as I said, MP Emmanuel and MP Westcott Williams are not wrong. There are many things currently happening in this country that make at least some of us in this room uneasy. I think the ones that are sitting here then. I'll add one to MP Emmanuel's GB point on his list, not just the current situation at GB, through you, Madam Chair, to MP Emmanuel, but the implication by some media reports that we were lied to on the floor of Parliament in that question hour about GB, and the risk that that poses to the country's only electricity provider. The only one we have. If you don't like Telem, you could go to UTS with Flow, but if you don't like GB, and if GB is not providing you the service that they're supposed to, what's your option? Campfires, I guess. Anyway, so a shady amendment over something as small but not any less significant as Carnival is par for the course for this government. We had our concerns about why this budget was being rushed through. I think we even had the most volatile reaction this faction has ever given to it. And anyone who's been following us knows that we do our best as a faction to not bash this government. In fact, to not bash anyone, especially during times of crisis. But the fact remains, many of those sitting in minister seats today would never have tolerated the things that are going on right now. None of them. In fact, if they were still MPs, I would have probably sent this government home already. And they would have done it without the minister being here, because they're good for that.
So, ultimately, you just want to know whether Carnival 2023 will go on bid. No. It will not be going on bid again because it's too much of a short time for SCDF to, for anybody else to come and do SCDF work. So they have no choice but to leave it up to SCDF. However, there was a public meeting that was set for today, Thursday, and in great fashion with the great handling of the Parliament of St. Martin, Member of Parliament Risha Heiliger, postponed the meeting until further notice because they didn't have a quorum. They won't have a quorum. And of course, they would have to rely on the opposition members to actually have a quorum in Parliament so that they can come to a definite decision for the St. Martin Carnival Development Foundation. Now, a motion is supposed to come whereby, you know, they're going to continue allowing them to continue with Carnival for a short period of time, and then eventually put it up for bid. But from all indications, it shows that they are going to continue with SCDF organizing Carnival. The sponsors, of course, have many concerns, and they just didn't want to go into another year with SCDF being in limbo as to whether they would be allowed to organize Carnival. So they needed some words from the Parliament of St. Martin stating that they will go ahead and they will not yeah. I think it was one of those shows. Welcome back. One of those
Christopher,
parliamentary
why
meetings
you
that
shaking your head already? We haven't gone on topic yet.
Because
no, I was just thinking of something somebody said now. Somebody was wondering, like, why the boardwalks
you know,
are
they
dead?
say if you can't stand the heat,
And
get
I was
out
like,
of the kitchen.
because the government
especially
dead.
if you are volunteering.
I was getting back because, you know, they just sell out themselves.
And if you can't do it, then let somebody else do it.
But people sell out themselves.
Just go into Parliament and
they
complain.
move everything to Simpson Bay because I remember once upon a time,
I want to organize
somebody
it.
was
No,
saying
I want to
that
organize
almost
it. And anyway, welcome to the Late Night Show. We have a good one for you. Let's begin.
When was the last time you had a good detox? This body cleanse is great for improving energy, getting rid of toxins, and boosting weight loss. Tizane's products are 100% organic. We use the many local plants and trees on St. Martin and St. Martin that provide so many impressive health benefits to help our clients lead a healthier and happier life. You can order a 3-day detox or a 1-day detox by sending us a message or giving us a call at 4604 or visit us at Simpson Bay Boulevard, Airport Road number 59. Tizan. It is important to make healthier choices. We are what we eat.
That is for the Late Night Show. Thank you so much for watching. Until tomorrow, do have a safe and pleasant one. Bye-bye.